Hi everyone. A couple of my friends are working on some flowers and flower punching, and I wanted to show you real quickly how I do my flowers. These are the retro flowers. This is using the medium-sized punch from EK Success on the retro flower. There are four sizes. There's the extra large, and the medium, and then the really small. I actually go to the small and the medium mostly. This guy I actually found on a whim. He's very difficult to find, so I don't use him too much unless I'm doing really small projects. But yeah, like I said, I pretty much use this one, which is like I said, it's the medium. And it gives me a rose that's just, this is a 2-inch square. Not square. Yeah, okay, it's kind of the day I've had today. It's a 2-inch round punch, so you can see that it blooms out just to about 2 inches there when it's all said and done. This rose here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blooms on it. This one here, I have about 6 or 7. And then I have the smaller one in the center, which some people like, some people don't. Another thing that you can do for the centers is if you go into the Wilton aisle in Michael's, you can find the stamens for the Wilton flowers for fondant and stuff, or gum paste, and I like to use those because they work really well and you can color them and do whatever you want with them. And then some people will put those down in the center there and they can glue them down there however you want to. And that works. Anyhow, so, without further ado, what I do and how I do my roses is I take the retro punch and punch it like normal. This is the EK Success Impressor, and it looks different now. It's purple and it's not full metal like it is now. But what it is it's a little bit different than your regular ball stylus, as this works more like a ballpoint pen. This ball rolls. I find that it's a lot easier and nicer to work with, and it doesn't tend to jam up my paper and catch it as much as the other balls. I also do all of my rolling on a really thick foam mat that I also use for my paper piercing. So without further ado, I take usually the smaller side when I'm doing the leaves, and all I do is I go around the outside edge of my leaves, and what that does is that crinkles that whole leaf, and then I pull it inward. Okay, so that crinkles that edge of that leaf, and it curls it, and then it pulls it completely inward, and it starts giving me this rounded shape that I want. And then if I just round a ball in the middle, it just curls it all right up. Okay, so that's what I do. And then all I do is I get all my pieces together. By the way, if you're using pattern papers that are very, very thin, like the Recollection stuff, be very gentle. It will tear. Also, this is the Recollections brand as well. I find it very difficult to use basil because it doesn't tend to want to form easily. Okay, basically for the first petal, all I do is I kind of scrunch it all up and get myself a little bit of a center point there, and then I kind of scrunch the back a little bit so that I can keep that roundness, and then flatten it down just a tad so that I can get the glue going for the next one. Oops, excuse me. Okay, and then I just take this part and put it right into my next bud, and then wrap that bud quickly around that glue so that glue gets on all the bottoms of those petals. Okay, and then that's all you do. You just keep stacking it like that. Okay, get your glue. I'm probably out of frame, sorry. And then just keep stacking it, and try as best you can to alternate where your petals are so that your petals are going to come down at alternating points. And I just burned my finger with hot glue. That really hurt. Okay. It doesn't have to look pretty right now. We'll make it pretty later, so don't worry too much about it. Oops, that little thing doesn't want to go there. Okay. Grab that. When you're working with hot glue, also remember that the pattern paper is thinner, so that hot glue will get you a lot faster. Another glue that you can use that works well for this technique is the Fabric Tack. That works really well, and also the Scotch Quick Dry Adhesive. Okay, so you're all said and done. This is about 6 or 7 petals. the glue is down, and it looks kind of really
Do you know where my yarmulke and stuff
weird.
is?
Your what?
My yarmulke and other stuff?
Yeah, it's with all the stuff on the IKEA next to the TV.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, it's Pat's over. He's getting ready. Okay, so my favorite tools from this point are going to be a regular pair of tweezers. And it sounds kind of weird. A lot of people, before they even start, when they're using, and I'll show you on a bigger one, when they're doing the bigger petals, they'll round them with like a paintbrush or a toothpick or something. And that's fine, and it's pretty, but I find that it gives you a different type of flower, and it doesn't quite go into the rose territory that I've been doing. I mean, you can get it that way eventually if you stack it all up and then you change the petals to the round one like I did, but I don't like it, honestly. But that, again, it's personal preference. This is just my way of doing things. Okay, so once I get it all this way, what I do is I will start going ahead and pulling out these petals. Now, if you're noticing, I'm not pulling like into the center right away, and the reason why is because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to texture the petals at different angles when I'm pulling it down with my tweezers, because the point of my tweezer is making a point on the rose petal, and there's a reason for that, and because it gives it that really nice texture that rose petals have. They're not perfect. They have this kind of tattered looking edge, and I like doing this with my tweezers like this because it gives me that tattered edge. And added the fact if I tried rolling it 50,000 times with a thing, I think my arthritis would have a cow. So anyways, so again, just peeling these back and then filling up my spaces that I have open on the rose. And it doesn't have to be perfect because, again, nature's not totally perfect. It likes to be symmetrical, but it doesn't always work that way. Okay, and you can see that it's starting to form out like that. This one's a little off, but it's okay. You can fix it, and you can play with it, and you can do whatever you want. And then the more petals you want to bring down from the center, the more you can do. It's entirely preference. Now, I didn't hit these on the back with any kind of inks or anything else like that. Normally, if you're working with a pattern paper that has like a white background, you would, but it's not necessary. But you can see the difference. This is the same paper, but it's got inked. And then I went ahead and inked all the backs. Okay, so anyway, so that's how it looks. Again, as you're doing this with the heavier cardstock, you're going to have a little bit more play with it because this heavier cardstock is going to tend to hold your forms a little bit better, I think, and show your creases a lot nicer, in my opinion. Like I said, Bazzel's hard to work with at this stage to trying to do this, but the Recollections paper really works perfectly. And you can see how that gives it that nice little texture on those edges that's not already kind of textured because I went ahead and got my, excuse me, when I was doing it with my ball tool. Okay, just little bits here. Now, even though I've pretty much quote-unquote finished this rose, I kind of want a little bit more on the bottom. So you can always go back and do one or two more and then keep adding to the base. That's kind of what I did with the other one. I just kept kind of adding and adding until I thought, okay, yeah, I'm done now. But it's entirely up to you how much or how little you want to add. Another thing too is that once you start getting to a point with your petals, you can actually start folding them the opposite way down, and that looks pretty too. Like these ones I'm going to go ahead and fold almost down all the way. Okay. There, just like that. Oops, forgot one. There, and you can see how that kind of goes out just like that. And then you can, like I said, you can build it and you can keep going on the bottom and the base with it as full or as little as you want. And so that's my tutorial, and I hope you like it. Again, it's just a different way of doing flowers, a different way of doing roses. Not everybody does it the same way. Everybody has their own style of flowers and what they like doing with them. It's totally preference. I'm going to see if I can get some of the stamens into this rose. I don't know how successful I'm going to be at it, but I'm going to give it a shot because I want to see how it looks. There we go. We'll just kind of get those in there. Just like that. Alright, I hope you like it. Thanks for watching.